Hi, Rishi. How are you?
Very well. How are you?
I'm good. Congrats, first of all. I
Thank
was
you very much.
thrilled. I was thrilled for you. I really enjoyed the show, and I don't know if you remember, but when the show came out, you guys came to my office, and I think we watched a couple of episodes, and we spoke
Yes, you
later.
did. I
Yeah.
I totally remember. Yeah.
So tell me about how was it? Where were you when you heard the news?
I was here. In fact, I was standing in the exact spot you see me in the little office I have here. And it was just an email that went around from the producers that I generally stay offline most of these days,
Hmm.
just researching and writing other things. So I know I tend to check emails kind of maybe 5 or 10 minutes a day at the end of the day. I stay off all that stuff for now. Um, but I just needed to check one thing. I saw this email going around, and then I investigated because I didn't know what the hell it was talking about, and it was a really pleasant surprise.
Was it at all anticipated? Had you guys ever
Not
thought
not
about it?
not by me. Not by me. I mean, we had talked about it last year because we were obviously I was proud and supportive of all, the previous nominees from India last
Mhm.
year, um, and and so I mean it was being tossed around that maybe there's potential for this a year ago, but everything has changed. So obviously in the world, so my mind generally is on pandemic related things like all of us, and certainly not on any of this stuff. So it was for the furthest from my mind.
Have you spoken to any of the cast and the
Hmm.
producers? You guys had
Yeah,
like a
everybody.
meeting.
No, not a meeting,
Um,
just phone calls and to touch base. And this is this is a nomination for the whole show, so it's a
yeah.
nomination reflecting everyone's contribution. So to me, it's something that people should be taking pride in who worked on this, because they really gave it their all, and it was you hear this a lot. It's a very difficult shoot, but it was extremely trying, and there was no guarantee this would even ever get out because it was an independently kind of created at the time. So we were just doing it on this all this faith. So for the crew and the cast, this is a moment to I think to really be proud that the work they did is connecting globally, and I wanted to share that with them, because obviously in certain cases I have access to this information, many people don't. They're just working day to day and not paying attention to anything online, and I wanted to share that. The producers wanted to share it as well.
You said it was a difficult shoot. Was it more difficult emotionally, or was it more difficult in terms of like logistics and?
um Emotional for I think it was, I can't speak for other people.
Hmm.
For me, emotionally, the difficulty was early on in the writing and researching, when I went through all the the, the pain I was going to go through. Um, because you get the information first, and then you try and sort it out and arrange it dramatically, and that's where you ask yourself: is it worth doing this? This is awful. Why should this be rehashed? What's the point of it? This, that. I was going through my own pain in those 4 years of research writing phase period, and then the execution of it, the production is a totally different beast, because you become very scientific about executing certain in the manner and moving quickly and this and that. So it just became a stamina thing, because you're shooting a 450-page script very quickly. um, so I think other crew members were catching up at the time. They were having more of an emotional relationship to material, whereas for me, I'd already gone through for years gone through that process.
The first season was something obviously that you have worked on so hard for so many years. I'm curious about the second season. What's happening with that?
Break,
Hmm.
and then I had other projects pending from
Hmm.
before season one. So I've been on those projects. Um, so the producers kind of ran with Delhi Crime. It's going to be very exciting. I can't wait to see what they do with it. But it's obviously the same cast, the same crew. But I haven't. Yeah, I couldn't answer that question because I'm going to be a spectator on it.
What else have you been working on in this past year?
Sadly, I can't tell you just yet. There will be a time when I can, and if the pandemic wasn't around, I probably would have, because things would have
Mhm.
been shot. But right now, I'm still at the research writing phase, and in this phase, I'm still evaluating whether or not I should be doing some of these things. I take a lot of time to process the relevance and value of the projects that I work on.
Delhi Crime was special. Like when I watched it for the first time, I knew I was watching something special, and it's rare, especially in my job where I have to watch like sometimes 4 shows a week. So I'm just
My
consuming
gosh.
so much. It's
Yeah.
difficult for things to stand out. Like I forget things very easily. But Delhi Crime remains at the top tier. I want to ask you. It's been a year, and I can count on one hand the shows that have stuck out, the Indian shows that have stuck out. How do you think the streaming industry has evolved? I'm talking mostly about India. If you've
Yeah.
had a chance to watch other stuff, if there's stuff that stuck out for you, and just overall feelings about how it's evolving.
Um, See, I haven't had a chance to watch much in the last year because I was so
Mhm.
heavily invested in researching and writing other stuff. But my outside observations are, I think it's come leaps and bounds in certain ways. Certainly in production, it's come leaps and bounds. The global television industry, and India is a perfect example of that, actually. Um, what I can't speak about is the development process, which I still think is the key, the biggest factor in a show having lasting power. Is because I think now the standard of production is so high that anything below a certain standard won't even make the cut. You won't even be seeing it. Most of the things we see are very well produced. They're well shot. The sound is great. All that, and the mixing is, all that stuff is great. But the development process, which has everything to do with timelines, that's the one thing I'm still unsure about. And I think that's a global issue where the need for content is so great, and there's a certain amount of time that has to go into production. You can't rush beyond a certain point how many hours you shoot in a day and what you accomplish in a day. But the development process is still very fluid. And the issue globally is, can these platforms spend time in development? Can they invest in an idea now and say, we will be in production in 2 years from now or 3 years from now?
Hmm.
That's a
Hmm.
very difficult proposition because we're living in a much, much faster time. And if you invest in a project, you want it on the air next year or at the end of this year or something. And that's the big difference to me between what makes a show that lasts and what doesn't.
Yeah,
So
you're saying basically it's a lot of these things are like rushed out when they shouldn't have been. Just
certainly, I think there's certainly certain shows for sure. Other shows have taken time. Probably the ones that you're seeing, you can count on one hand.
Mhm.
I know where I stand on this issue. Is I will work on projects for months or maybe years before I throw them into the industry mechanism because I
Mhm.
need that time. I can't rush a project no matter what. Deadly Crime is a perfect example of that.
Do you think it's has anything changed post Delhi Crime in terms of what you can ask for, even if it's just more time? Like it's easier to ask for more time now.
Personally,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't ask. I just say I need time, and then I'll get back to you. Um, because but once you present the project, there's a timeline no matter what. So in my view, it's if somebody says, hey, we want to work with you, I say, okay, well, give me 6 months or a year and I'll get back to you on something I've been working on. But I'm not asking for time because it's my choice how much time I spend. Once a contract is signed or once the industry is involved in the project, then there is a time limit.
Mm.
And that's I think there's a proper phase for that in a production and a proper phase before that where you shouldn't have those types of pressures.
Thanks for talking to me. Looking forward to your whatever you're cooking up. Hopefully we talk again soon. Yeah.
Certainly. Certainly.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Congrats.
Thanks so
All the
much.
best.
Yes, we'll speak soon.